Hey guys, and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. So last time we left off, we were deep into the swamp of Farron. And on the cusp of making some important decisions. I have decided that I am going to go with a particular set of items here. I've decided to go with the Hollow Slayer Greatsword, as opposed to the Arstor Spear. I really do like the spear. The poison is very nice, the reach is nice, the dexterity focus on it is nice. However, I still think that the better of the two is the Hollow Slayer Greatsword. They both have a DC scaling, D and strength, C and dexterity. I believe the spear definitely gets higher scaling, but it's a much lower base damage, 118 versus 145, although obviously there's a much better difference in speed in terms of that. We have a requirement of 14 strength for the sword, or 19 dexterity for the spear. Not too much difference here. The Crystal Sage's rapier, I should have looked up this information. I actually did not look this up, whether this was really going to be worth it or not. I do like the item discovery boost, though. And Crystal Hail doesn't really seem like it's all that incredible. So if you will bear with me on this one, I'm going to look up some information on the Crystal Hail versus the Sage Rapier. And then I'm going to make a decision.
5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be licked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a colossus.
It seems as though the rapier is definitely worth it. I wanted to kind of look up how much of an increase of item discovery we're going to get through the rapier, and it seems like it's definitely worth it. Says, thrusting sword with tiny crystals scattered across its blade, used by the Crystal Sages for self-defense. The crystals boost the magic damage inflicted by the sword, and the item discovery of its wielder. Fruits of the lifetime of research conducted by the sages. Skill is stance. From stance, use normal attack to backstep and execute a surprise attack, or strong attack for consecutive thrusting. Crystal Hail, though. Excuse me. Let me take a look at how this spell looks so I can remember which one I'm dealing with here. I believe this is very reminiscent of the crystal spells like Crystal Downpour and that from Elden Ring. Although it does land towards being a useful spell, because those spells are actually quite nice. Okay, I remember which one this is. This is one of the ones that's used by Yellowfinger Hazel. I remember it. Okay. Yeah, I think the rapier is definitely the better option here. The scaling is pretty crap on it, except for the intelligence scaling, which I'm not going to really be. Not going to have that much, so I just don't see it being all that great of a weapon. But it's going to be nice to just kind of have on your offhand for farming. So I'm going to do that. So we used our Soul of a Crystal Sage. We used our Soul of the Rotted Greatwood. We do not have a soul of a demon, which is kind of strange. That I think what's going on here is that the demon that you fight with Siegwart was supposed to have dropped one of the demon souls, but they decided not to because they didn't want to. They wanted to like kind of make some more replayability, perhaps by saying, "Oh, if you want the Great Axe and the Fist, you need to go into a New Game Plus." You know, that's what it seems like to me. And then the Soul of Boreal Valley Vort, we chose the Pontiff's Left Eye, which is a great choice because we're not going to have 30 strength on this build. On that note, it is kind of sad that we don't have the Demon's Great Axe. I do kind of hate that the Great Axe just turned into like a giant wood. It is just a giant chunk of wood, which lore-wise is actually very cool. No pun intended. You know, it's a fire weapon and all that. But it doesn't make a lot of sense. The original Demon's Great Axe, yes, the Demon's Great Axe was a wooden shaft, but it was completely metal. You know, it was like this black iron with like a tempered steel blade that was kind of falling into disrepair, but this is nothing like that. It looks almost like stone on the blade, and then even the entirety of the shaft is just wood, which makes no sense, right? But it says, this great axe, a favorite among demons, contains the strength of fire. The demons, born of chaos, harbor fire, and yet they are twisted and malformed, such that they were never meant to be. Skill is demonic flare, briefly cause flame within to flare and smash it upon earth and foes. It's actually not a bad weapon for us, though, funnily enough. If I use two hands, it might actually be worth it, right? So what is that? Let's see. I've been out of school for far too long here, so we would need 19. Yeah, I don't think 18 quite cuts it. No, we would need 19 strength. Excuse me, with a two-handing bonus in order to get 28 strength. I do want to be able to use the Lothric Knight Shield. I was thinking about that, although I might end up just respecking afterwards, so it'd be fun to at least mess with it for a while. That would allow us to use this to kind of mess around with it, so I'm considering the option. The only other option for this soul is the Demon's Fist, which admittedly are pretty cool though. A demonic fist that burns with fiery essence. Its wielder can release this power through use of its skill. When two-handed, fists are equipped to each hand. Flame Whirlwind, spin through opponents with abandon. Flaming fists outstretched. Using a strong attack while spinning utilizes your momentum to slam the ground with both fists. Yet another example of spin to win. I knowest thou of thine purpose. Thank you, good sir. Alas, we did make the probably slightly worse decision to grab our only Sharpstone, use it on the Sharp Wounded Katana +2, rather than creating a Sharp Lothric Knight Sword +2, which would have done, oh, what are we at? It would have done, like, I think it was 4 or 5 less damage. I think it was 170 or 171. However, I think the versatility of the Lothric Knight Sword definitely does beat out the Uchi, even though katanas are just timeless weapons that are always worth something. The one-handed moveset is vertical. It has much less horizontal coverage. And same thing with the two-handed. So the R2s are the same. Poke. The pokes are nice, but you have to go for a second R2 in order to have that horizontal coverage. None of the other movesets seem to do this either. Okay, we have the rolling R1. That could be useful. But I feel that having the longsword that can catch these wide strikes, can hit multiple enemies, helping you when you're surrounded. We don't have anything like the split leaf that can just like spin and knock off drag heap hollows off you or something. It's one of the things that you lose, unfortunately, in favor of taking something like the katana. The Hazel Pick is another one I've been considering using, but I would need the 19 intelligence in order to do it. 93 plus 7, and then 70 magic with an unknown quantity of boost. Choice weapon of Yellowfinger Hazel, a finger of Rosaria in Xanthus Scholar. This is both a weapon and a sorcery staff. The gold specks are remnants of lost sorceries. And it has steady chant. I really like this weapon. It just really, you know, it sings to me, as Father Gascoigne very succinctly puts it. It doesn't really look all that cool, but something about it is just like a really interesting design. It's like, why is this random ass solid metal pickaxe? It doesn't even look like a war pick. The way it's shaped is just not conducive to war. The curvature is not even conducive to actually being a pickaxe. Maybe it is essentially. It depends on whether the blade is. It looks more like a scythe almost. You know, maybe it's like a farming implement, and it has some cloth around it. It's very bizarre that this is a sorcery catalyst. You know, but it's fast. You know, you can see that lovely, just fast reaction. Unfortunately, we don't have the stats to use it, so it has ridiculous stamina usage. I would think that'd be fair if you didn't meet the strength requirements, but if you don't meet the intelligence requirements, why am I being stamina capped for swinging it? Give me a stamina cap when I'm casting a spell with it, but why otherwise? You know, that's a bit odd to me. I do want to use the knight's crossbow sometime too. That really feels cool to me. The lightning effect will be very nice. The heretic staff could be nice as well in the future. I don't remember if there's any particular benefits to this over the sorcery staff. It weighs more. Excuse me. Has the same steady chant. The spell buff is lower on the heretics, but that's because I don't meet the requirement. I'll have to wait until I have 16 intelligence to know for sure, I suppose. But yeah, the Lothric Knight Shield is something I want to be able to use. It's just a really nice large shield, you know, a nice medium shield to be working with. The other option is something like, say, the Twin Dragon Great Shield with 16 strength. Which looks okay, you know, but it, I just like the style of the other one better. Crest Shield is nice as well. Really exceptionally high magic and dark defense, especially the dark. That thing is, you know, worth his weight in gold with how high PvP is saturated with dark users, you know. The grass, unfortunately, has even less stability than the grass crest, but beats it out in every category otherwise. We already went over why Stone Parma is just inferior in pretty much every manner to things like the War God Shield. Same stability, beat out in every way with the elemental ones except for magic and physical. So like, Stone Parma has some usage, but with the huge increase in weight, I don't find that worth it either. So I'm going to get the Grass Crest for the increased stamina recovery. We're going to double that up with Chloranthy. The Pontiff's Eye is still an awesome choice. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can equip some other things here real quick. Or if I'm going to meet a weight equipment level here. Requirement limit, I should say. Oh, and the Hollow Slayer, I never thought about considering that as well. Let's see. This will give us an idea of how much I'm going to need to increase my vitality in the near future. Because I want to kind of replace the Dark Hand. It's nice for cosplay reasons, but I feel kind of cheesy just running up to enemies and just bashing them in with an unupgraded weapon. Okay, the Rapier it still puts me over the limit. But Havel's Ring isn't far off. Let's see what it does to my item discovery. 107. Oh, it's not. Hold up. Okay, there. 157. So a 50-point increase is actually pretty nice. And it does have nice range. For a Rapier, that's pretty long. That's about the same as the S-Stock, I would say. Perhaps even a little bit longer. Not too big of a fan of the R2s. I like the stance. That's nice. Okay, fair enough. It's definitely a farming tool that we're going to use. Okay, and then the Hollow Slayer Greatsword is our other option here. We're going to need 14 strength for it. Has a 1-2, 1-2 standard moveset with one-handed. Right, left, right. With two-handed R1s, it does have a unique moveset with a third combo where it's not just 1-2, 1-2 repeating. It's actually 1-2, 3, 1-2, 3, which is very nice. You know, kind of switches up the monotony and then also throws off players. You can see that horizontal swipe. It has the up, down, and then swipe. You know, the down, up, and then a horizontal swipe. I don't know if I have enough stamina to show the fourth hit, but let's see here. Yes, I do. Then it goes down. Yeah, so it's down, up, horizontal, and then up again. So that's nice. It's not bad. Has a nice poke on the R2, although the secondary R2 seems kind of pointless. Has a standard spinning dodge, spinning backstep attack. Rolling R1 is a poke. A bit slow, though. I don't like how slow that is to come out. A rolling attack, a rolling R1 should always be quick. And that's really not that quick. It's just not. The backstep is a little bit faster, but this just is just a little bit too long coming out. Anyway, let's finish this up here by reading the last of the item descriptions. Greatsword used for a lifetime by a masked knight harbors the fears that lurk within the minds of hollows and is particularly effective against them. Bestowed to a proper Mira knight long ago. Two-hand to execute special sword techniques. Skill is stance again. So yeah, cool stuff. I'm going to need one more strength in order to wield it, so I might as well do that now.
Very well then taken.
I do kind of wish that I could have that extra vitality or perhaps that extra stamina, but I think this is more needed right now.
Farewell, Ashmead.
Let's see how we're working now. 145 plus 29. Just 1 second here, I'm gonna grab something to drink. Apologies. Okay, sorry about that. As some of you may be aware, I have a lung tumor that causes me some breathing issues and such. One of the side effects of coughing a lot and I do that is that I get some issues. Sometimes I get like excess salivation where it just feels like my mouth is watering all the time. So I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I have to drink something, or I make or use cough drops and things to kind of just deal with respiratory passage issues that cause these kind of things. So apologies for any grossness or sounds that are irritations, caused by that. Okay, our Hollow Slayer is looking pretty darn good for an unupgraded weapon, I must say. Let's see what we can do to get an upgrade on it. I think it will need the Titanite scales to upgrade.
Tis good, wasn't he? There are two ways simple we bring this business in battle. In my believe. Oh, by the way, if you find any, they can without weapons, but they so there are simple in battle.
I do like how they repeat Andre's. Excuse me. I like how they repeat Andre's initial phrases, his old dialogue, whenever you reload the game. That way, if somehow you forgot what he said, or maybe there's a player that's like 10 years old for whatever reason, and they don't understand the systems, it allows them to kind of get some extra knowledge that they wouldn't have otherwise had, Okay. I cannot infuse that weapon, so let us reinforce it then. We go to 168 plus 37. And I believe this is a unique weapon, of course, so it's going to qualify as, Titanite scale, okay. So this would qualify as the equivalent of a +2 weapon for PvP matchmaking purposes. So 13, and then 8. So a total of 21 extra damage. 21 extra AR. We retain a D and a C for our scaling, but that's a pretty good damage increase, frankly. Oh, wow. 24 plus 8. 32 damage increase on the next one. That's not bad at all, actually. It still retains a D and a C, though. Surely at +3, though, we're going to get a little higher, right? Let me take a look here. What are our scaling? So here's an interesting little detail. The Hollow Slayer deals 20% bonus damage against hollows. It doesn't affect hollow players in PvP, which is actually kind of thankful, because this is still one of the best PvP weapons in the game. Regardless, it would be kind of terrifying if it did. But here's a small list from the wiki of PvE AI enemies that are affected by this 20% bonus damage. Reanimated Corpse, Infested Corpse, Grave Warden, Starved Hound, Hollow Soldier, Hollow Assassin, Lothric Knight, Winged Knight, Ascended Winged Knight, Hollow, Thrall, Evangelist, Peasant Hollow, Hollow Manservant, Caged Hollow, Lycanthrope Hunter, Lycanthrope, Sage's Prentice, Cathedral Knight, Deacon of the Deep, Devout of the Deep, Erythilian Slave, Silver Knight, Lothric Priest, Farron Follower, Millwood Knight, Merkman, Angel Pilgrim, Ring City Slave, Hollow Cleric, Deacons of the Deep Boss, and the Slave Knight Boss, whose name I will omit for spoiling purposes. That's interesting. According to the wiki, it says, great swords have hyper armor on, two-handed R1, R2, rolling R1. It's a few different attacks. Hyper armor prevents you from being staggered. It's essentially poise that's attached to your weapon rather than attached to your armor, like in other games in the series. It says, note that this information is all measured in 60 frames per second. Less FPS, less frames per second, means a faster action. If you play on console at 30 FPS, the displayed values will be half. So it's saying, it's giving me frame data here. First R1 is 36 frames to start up the attack. 20 frames. The poise starts at the 20th frame, and then the poise ends on the 68th frame. The attack itself will trigger at the 36th frame. So if I'm playing on a high refresh monitor, like if I, luckily I'm still playing at 60 capped, but I'm using a 160 hertz monitor, ultra wide 160 hertz with an overclock. So this thing I could be deviously hurting myself in terms of PvP when it comes to playing the game. I wonder if that's even allowed. That may be one of the things that gets people shadow banned is unlocking FPS, for that specific reason. It might not even be that it hurts other players. It might just be that they don't want you to be handicapped and then complaining at them, and that have that effect balancing. That's devious. So they're saying playing at 60 halves those, playing it doubles those values. So apparently my poise doesn't start up, my hyper armor doesn't start up until frame 40 at 60 frames per second. I'm sorry. Oh no, okay, I'm saying, yeah. So it starts on the 10th frame. That's creepy. Surely PvP has some kind of a way of fixing this, right? Where like all players' inputs are all converted to 60 FPS or converted to 30 once it goes over the peer-to-peer. Well, it's not peer-to-peer anymore, but once it goes over the servers, it's surely something. There's just no way they would allow that, right? There we go. I'm looking at the scaling now. Apologies, that took a bit longer than I thought. No, it retains a D in strength and a C in dexterity, even all the way to +5. However, being a Titanite scale weapon, it gets pretty massive damage, base damage increases, going up to 192 at +2, 216 at +3, 240 at +4, and then 264 at +5. So it gets another 24 damage, then 24, and then 20. Yeah, so 24 increase per level, every level, pretty much. 23, and then 24, 24, 24, 24, yeah. So pretty interesting. Alright, enough of that. I do not have enough scales to be upgrading this anymore.
pretty. Be
All right.
careful.
So let's get at it. I'm gonna test this weapon out, but I'm not 100% sure. 100% sure I want to use it as of yet for a main weapon. Let's just kind of see how it goes. Oh, and actually, for farming purposes, I should be getting a lot of benefit out of using this. Oh, and that's too bad I can't, obviously this is unupgradable. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Not bad. Oh, wolf-spelled swordgrass. It's a bit of a rare item. I forgot to have my rapier out, though. I want to see if, the main thing I want to do is try to see if I can get some better Titanite shard drops. A little bit quicker than normal. They actually drop the swordgrass pretty often, strangely. Now, call me crazy, but I don't recall that being the case. Because I did a lot of farming in this particular area in the past. Whoa. That went right through there. Right through that shield. Okay. Not bad, actually. Still no Titanite, though. At least I believe so. 5 shards. I believe that's exactly what I had before. I'm not going to make this a farming video, though, so don't worry. Just wanted to do a couple runs here. Alright, already. Jeez. What in the hell? Yeah, as good of a weapon as this is, the Dark Hand just trounces it. When wielding the Dark Hand, I can just... Like, what are we looking at here? 206. That's still significant. I mean, damn, 206 pure physical damage is nothing to sneeze at. However... that extra speed is just not accounted for. You have to be ridiculously... The shields are the problem here. If you can bypass them, it's not much of an issue. Let's see. I want to compare this one more time. Okay, that range is just... Oh, that's abysmal. What the hell? Maybe I'm not quite correct on that one. The shields are just abysmal, man. They just fuck everything up about this. Problem is the crystal saber in the offhand. I could do so much better farming if I didn't have to have that in the offhand. Because, you know, if an enemy has a shield and you don't attack them, eventually they're going to attack on their own, and then once you block their attack, you can come in for an attack opportunity that would not be blocked. Yeah, that's interesting. Usually, my old remedy used to be to just come in with the swamp ring and the clutch ring and just great combustion them to death. Like that. Which is extraordinarily fast. And I suppose actually that would be a very effective method. Just swap the crystal rapier into the right hand there. And this is an incredibly efficient way to farm souls as well. Ugh, of course that happens. And one of the keys is to not do this while you're embered, or else you're going to lose your ember, of course. And a lot of souls. I've never tried this with the rapier, so it kind of ruins it, basically. These are some of the most annoyingly effective groups of enemies in the game. They just cover each other's weaknesses so freaking well. Oh my god. It makes me just want to put the game down. I hate these guys. Alright. Enough of this foolery. There. So that was a totally unnecessary little incursion. I apologize. Let me go get a level up and then we'll just actually go and do something worthwhile towards progressing the game.
Welcome home, speak. Very well, then take none.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity, elucidated by five borrowed deep within them, retreating through darkness beyond the reach of flame. Let them assume a new master, inhabiting ash, casting themselves upon new forms. Let these souls withdrawn.
I'm debating on how much Havel's Ring is going to do for me here. Let's see. 15%. 19% with a +3. Yeah, so I don't see that. I don't see one level of vitality really being something unnecessary. Even with the ring, I think I could provide plenty of benefit from that. So I'm going to do that for now. Alright. So let's see how our new sharp Uchigatana works on the local populace. I have quite a bit of extra junk that I need to deal with as well. We have one more fire that we need to douse out and a lot of extra assorted loot to deal with. Thankfully, when grouped together, you can break my earlier statement of the katana not hitting multiple enemies. You can definitely do that if you have extra, if you have really tight grouped enemies like the slugs here. Those giant Gru, oh my god. Nightmare fuel, man. Those things were the bane of my existence for a long time upon the release of this game. 2016 was one hell of a year for the Gru Haters Association. Sunlight Talisman, and another one of the Estus soups, which are just a free Estus charge if you weren't aware. Praise the soup. I believe that's a well-deserved message. Wolf's Blood Swordgrass. Speaking of Havel's Ring, actually, here it is. Right up here. Before I end up dying of poison, I'm gonna reload everything here right quick. So here is, assumedly Sith, Great Wolf Sith, or at the very least one of his descendants. You know, maybe Sith got lucky, you know, somehow found another Great Wolf in the cesspool of what Dark Souls 1's universe was, but the old Wolf of Farron is indeed a great beast and worthy of joining the Covenant. So let's see, we have 3 Wolf's Blood Swordgrass. I don't recall what the breakpoints are for getting Covenant items. Let's see here. Yeah, so you need 10 for level 1. The Old Wolf Curved Sword, you need 10 of them. Wolf Knight Great Shield and the Wolf Ring are at level 2 with 30. So it gives you around 4 poise. That's strange. It's saying that the more poise you already have, the less it gives you. So with 12 poise, you only get 3.5 poise. That really doesn't seem worth it, frankly. Although the Great Shield may be worth it, and the Curved Great Sword is definitely worth it. That's a magnificent weapon. Anyway, we can come over here and here. The telltale sparkle of twinkling titanite. We have these little twinks waiting for us to put our dark hand up there, well, you know. There we go. And one of the best kept secrets in the game. Totally nobody knows about this. Where is it? Is it here then? Oh, well, actually, maybe it's a better kept secret than I thought. It's right around here somewhere. Am I imagining? I thought it was over here. It's definitely not here. Huh. So wait. It's right over there. Does the dark hand not work? For some strange reason? It should be right up here. Yeah, right there, right? Oh, oh, okay, yep, I went too far. There we are. Anticlimactic, but yeah. The Dream Chaser's Ashes. In the hidden path ahead messages and such, door ahead. So, give ourselves a couple appraisals here for these guys. Somehow I imagine that the old demon has pretty hefty slash resistance. Maybe it's my imagination. I always end up using an Uchigatana against him. So I'm not too sure why I have this impression, but to me it feels like slash damage is just not the way to go with him. Oh well, let's try it. $69.6. Talk about incredibly lucky. I wish I could choose which spell is gotten rid of here, but I don't think that's going to be of much effect to me at the moment. Alright. YOLO. As long as I don't get yeetist deletist, I think we're good here. Uh-oh. Nope. Unexpected. He went for the Aegis. Alright, let's try that again. Let's see how he fares against... I wonder if he's weak to bleed. That actually has me curious. That might actually be... No, I don't think so. Because he would be succumbing to it with the katana if that was the case. So if he is, I'm just not noticing it. Let's try the mace. I'm wondering if maybe his stone hide would be weak against blunt attacks or something. There's also the option of fire. I could try some great combustion blows on him. Honestly, great magic shield might even be a good... Oh, hello, yeah. Actually, yes. Oh, I fell for the loot. The draw of wealth was too great. Oh, come on. Oh, actually, if he's susceptible, but I put fire on it. Darn it. Ugh. Alright, I'm just gonna try this then. Deus Volt. We will retake Jerusalem. Oh, and I do have Perseverance too. That might actually provide a decent... Get that R2 in. Go for it. Ugh. Soul of a stray demon. I love that aspect of Souls where you, it's kind of like a Witcher-ish. It reminds me of, like, you know, playing the Witcher games where, like, you're using specific, you find out that a boss is specifically weak to the crossbow attacks, specifically weak to one particular type of potion, or it's weak to Quen, it's weak to Igni attacks, weak to fire, and then you alter your attack type based on that. It's weak to the silver sword, the steel sword. That aspect has always been in Dark Souls, all the way to Dark Souls 1, but I just never really took advantage of it for some odd reason. I never took advantage of it for some reason, but now it's just something I really love. Elden Ring really brought out my love of that kind of thing. Now, whenever I'm having trouble with the boss, I wait a few times. Once I've died, 10, 12 times or something, then then I'll bring myself to the level where like my pride will let me look up what the boss's weaknesses are. It's like, okay, he's weak to blunt damage, or I'll just test it out rather than looking it up. In a lot of cases. It's more so on my second playthrough that I started doing this. But that's probably part of why I had so much trouble on my first playthrough, is I was just unwilling to do such a thing. Okay, anyway, we have the wall surrounding Farron Keep. That's why it's called the Keep, because it's a enclosed facility. It seems a little bit strange that they would build a giant wall around what is essentially just an untamed swamp and forest, and then make this their headquarters. I don't understand why that is, but I mean, that is what it is. Or is this actually the Road of Sacrifices more so? Yeah, the Road of Sacrifices is over. Yeah, over there is the Road of Sacrifices. You can see the ruins, and then of course the Crystal Sage fight will lead us to the Cathedral of the Deep. Right there, yonder. So this has to be where we just came from. And in fact, there's the last of the three fires too, okay? This is one of my favorite things to do in this game. Dark Souls 3... Dark Souls 1 had it to a degree where like you could see the Duke's archives if you looked up from all the way down in the Burg or something into Anilano. You could kind of peek over if you're in the Darkroot Garden or something. You could peek up and see the Duke's archives. But Dark Souls 3 really hit it off, where it was just astonishing good views. You can see everything. I can see the Road of Sacrifices. I can see the Farron Keep area. I can see where the boss fight is at. I can see everything. See the cathedral. I can see the high wall in Lothric Castle. Just so cool. Really cool stuff. The question of where this stuff led to is another one too. That's always kind of felt interesting to me. Alright, now I'm going to go back to my katana for now, since I'm not using the blunt damage anymore. There is another semi-secret-ish area over here that you can go to. After realizing that this gate is blocked off, you can kind of get the idea that, you can see items over there and such, and enemies, so you know that there's obviously something that you can do to get over there. And then you just drop down here. Okay. Two large Titanite shards. I might have just been seeing the lightning spear too. That's nice. I might have just been seeing the miracles in the shield here, but yeah, there's a third one. I think there was another one over there that I missed too. So I want to be able to ensure that I can hit this. No. That's a trap and a half. Oh man. Oh man. Crap. It's interesting the implications of why there are so many Lothric soldiers in this area. Were they sent out to defend this place from an incursion from the Londor pilgrims or something? This is another thought process that Elden Ring has kind of pushed onto me, where I kind of think, you know, why are these things here? Because I think of the battles that took place in Elden Ring, and they kind of remind me of similar storytelling done in this game. This is a confusing area here. I'm wondering what this is. Is this oh no, this is actually where the boss fight is, right? This is the Undead Legion. And then yes, right beyond the distance right there is Irithyll of the Boreal Valley and Anor Londo. And then the Undead Settlement is there. You can even see the unturned cart where Yol of Londor was at, right ahead of us, where the rest of the Pilgrims of Londor were crushed when the dragon hit the bridge. But it begs the question, were these entities fighting one another previous to this? The dragon was very likely ridden by the Knights of Lothric. It looks more like a storm drake than like an ancient dragon. We see lakes and more forest land here. Things definitely look unnatural, right? You know, we see this massive enclosure of mountains surrounding everything. You know, as far as the eye can see, essentially it's just mountains everywhere, with one exception, which is just a wide open sea. And then we have what is that noise? And we have Lothric Castle just kind of in the way. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to ponder, I think. I want to exit out of here real quick and make sure I didn't miss any of the crystal lizards real quick. Okay. And I completely blanked out when that happened. Okay, but I didn't see anything. I underestimated the power of my own SSD, apparently. Oh, there was another one, though. That's right, because there's the one that I didn't kill up here. Yeah, phooey. A heavy gem. That sucks. That is... Okay, good. Bad luck followed by good luck. Just barely survived that one. Heavy gem is the one I needed least. That's not going to be of any benefit to me. dark sword. A nice weapon for sure. That's crazy how we get the triple PvP sign there all the way across all of this. Keep Ruins, Farron Keep, Crystal Sage, Crucifixion Woods, Halfway Fortress, all of them except for the initial Road of Sacrifices where I don't believe you can even invade at all. They're all just that way, you know. It's an interesting detail. PvP is still concentrated in the areas that they were at the beginning, I'm assuming. I have yet to see the Pontiff fight clubs, but I have faith. Okay, let's give them the Dream Chaser's
Ashen
ashes.
One, what woeful umbral ash is this? This barren dust, stuff of a fool, won't yield aught. Where didst thou happen upon the stuff? Tell me for the sport. Oh yes, I see. Clinging to lofty dreams in this dying world, more's the pity. It must come from one most foolish indeed. Wouldst thou not agree?
I wouldn't. I think it's actually probably the big dreamers are the only ones that get anything done around here, the guys like you being so pessimistic and all. Beautiful Hamon line on that katana, actually. I really like that.
Ashen One, bring with... Is it...
Alright, what new did we get? Hidden Blessing? I don't believe we had that before. There is a grave in Lothric that sees no visitors, a dark place where rootless warriors rest. The Queen of Lothric alone cared to wish the poor souls good fortune. And so this is her version of the Divine Blessing. Fully restores FP. Holy water blessed by the Queen of Lothric. It makes me wonder, with Elden Ring having so much of a Norse mythology kind of feel to it, what other mythologies were pulled? For example, the name Osiris, right? is kind of a, it's like the Greek, it's very similar to like a Greek way of saying Osiris, the Egyptian god, which is very similar to like Oranos or Uranus, which is a very similar story. That there's actually a school of thought, I believe, I forget the name of it, where it says that pretty much all the stories of gods were essentially stories of great kings that were so great, you know, these kings were so revered that they essentially became gods in legend later on. One piece of evidence for this is that eventually you see in all kinds of cultures tales of about 10 to 12,000 years ago, you know, the great days, the golden age. Zep Tepi, the first time, is the time where the gods walked among men, is what the Egyptians called it. And then the Greeks had a similar type of legend to this kind of thing where, you know, they speak of, well, the creation of man. Man was created hermaphroditic with 4 arms and 2 heads, and then blah, 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 and Prometheus and all these, you know. It makes me wonder. So if Osiris is based on the myth of Osiris, potentially, you know, is, you know, and maybe the great hope of young Prince Lothric was to be based on Horus, but a failure to become a Horus, is this now Isis? Is, you know, who is Queen Lothric, you know? That's been the greatest mystery of this game, I think, is who's Queen Lothric? What happened to Guinevere? We know where Gwyn went. We know where the Firstborn went. We know where Gwendolyn went. We know where Filianor went. Where is Guinevere? That's the only thing we don't know. Okay, so we have lightning, gold pine resin, a rare pine resin which emits golden sparks. Chunks of it are even rarer. Temporarily applies lightning to right-hand weapon. Its origins are unknown, although some have speculated that it may in fact be a type of fungal resin, which makes perfect sense as you get it from the mushrooms in Dark Souls 1. What else do we have here? Ah, we can buy Titanite shards. Unlimited amounts of them too, that's fantastic. Ah, and the composite bow too. Perfect. Composite bow. Emphasizing power. Its size allows for quick shots. Though more powerful than standard bows, it also requires more strength of the user, and its range is short. That is a perfect weapon there, and I will indeed grab that. I don't think that the exile armor is available because of the ashes. I think it's because of defeating the exile. Iron Mask of the Watchdogs of Farron's Keep. After the Legion's Watchers became Lords of Cinder, the wolf blood dried up, and Farron was consumed by a festering wood. Ah, so that explains it. So the forest... I was just positing that, right? Why is there a swamp and a forest? Swamp, I could understand. Maybe the abyss took it over. But trees? A giant forest? That seems... It wasn't that long ago, was it? Within the wood, an emaciated old wolf commands watchdogs to defend the sanctity of sleeping warriors. Both the exiles were surely watchdogs themselves, for Farron has always been a land of itinerants. A generations-old ring set with a small red jewel. Set with a small red jewel. Wrong emphasis there. Raises maximum HP. Rings have unique powers and their discovery will do much to ease a wearisome journey. Huh. I'm gonna grab at least one of them, so I can get up to +3 on something here.
Ah, tis good, wasn't he?
Okay, so we're going to 140 plus 52. So we're getting 11 and then 7. So 18 increased damage, which is actually quite nice. Oh, and I could actually go even further. So that's at 140 plus 52. That's 192. And then with another increase, we're going up by 10 and 8, so another 18. Oh, and it gets an A scaling in dexterity, actually. I don't want to use these up until I remember how to farm large shards en masse. So I would best hold myself to +3, I think. And I do want to increase the Lothric sword to +3 as well. It may be worthwhile to increase the raw mace as well, I think. Because what are we getting here? 67, so we're getting 23 damage per increase, so 46 for 2. Yeah, so that at +3 would be it'd be breaching 200, yeah. Not bad. Not bad. And I do have a bone shard as well, so that'll be nice. And then the raw is 182. It's not far off, frankly, though. 182 versus 192. Makes you wonder, is it actually worth, putting the extra points? Is it worth having 14 strength and 18 dex? Saving 5 extra points and only losing 10 damage. That's 2 points per level. It's not that much, frankly. $169, nothing like that. Yeah, nothing else is really kind of coming anywhere close to that. Especially when I have bleed equipped as a bonus on this, it helps. Alright, I'm gonna stick with that for now. I don't have enough shards to be doing much else, although I could get them. Let me do another sweep here and make sure there's nothing else I need to buy from any of the merchants. There's the chime. I do feel like it's better to use the canvas talisman, though. Funnily enough, looking back at the Pontiff Knight shield, I'm not even sure if this is actually worth it either. Because most of the time you're not going to run into enemies that are using that are using magic and fire, or magic and lightning, or dark and lightning. It's pretty rare to see that. So I have plenty of other shields that are effective at that. I have the Crest Shield that has that massive dark defense. I have the Dragon Crest Shield that has massive fire defense. The War God Shield has some decent defenses. I have other options that have really good in like 1 or 2 categories, but have better physical defense and much better stability. So I'm kind of loath to mess with that, It seems like it's not worth it, essentially. I do like the Knight Armor, though. That's actually a good set to have. But okay.
Goodbye.
Do you have anything new to say, actually, though?
You can keep the...
Okay, nothing.
Goodbye.
Fair enough.
Back again.
Ah, that's right. We have the scroll.
Oh my. This is stupendous. And the undead legion of Farron possesses sorceries quite unknown. Thank you for upholding your end of the bargain. I doubt I ever would have made this discovery alone. Now, let us unravel the thing, so you may put these new sorceries to use.
I believe I mentioned it before, but this guy has an interesting kind of connection to how Elden Ring portrays Gideon Ofnir. The all-knowing, the all-hearing, to accumulate all the knowledge of the world. This seems to be his goal. He's even so lofty that at one point he claimed himself to want to be the Lord of Hollows, but then realized the folly of it and decided to, instead of pursuing power or a goal of any particular faction, holds himself back to just learn knowledge, which is an incredible, little detail. It reminds me of Gideon in the fact that he appears to be gung-ho all aboard on the train of the Two Fingers and Marika and the Greater Will and all this, but then at the end he realizes Marika betrayed the Greater. You know what? I'm spoiling some Elden Ring things. These are also rumors too. They're not really known, but they're very highly hinted at. So let me stop there. But it's very interesting. It's a very interesting character where he, you know, has this knowledge fascination. It feels like almost a prototype of him.
I don't mean to seem an extra. I hope.
Okay, we have some higher soul arrow options. Great arrow, heavy arrow, great heavy arrow. Great Farron dart. Oh, that's an interesting one. I forgot about that existing. Fires a more powerful soul dart, entrusted to the leader of the Legion's acolytes, and apparently a sorcery of his daughter, Hazel, that was refined by a crystal sage. So is there a crystal dart then? I'm right here too. Yeah, a Farron Hail, entrusted to the leader. Yeah, okay. Apparently a sorcery of his daughter, Hazel, that was refined by a crystal sage. Okay. But yet it's not a crystal sorcery. It's just, yeah, okay, it's just saying that the sages were enhancing it. Sorcery which improves upon Farron Dart to create a hail. So, this is interesting that there is a crystal version of this. There's Crystal Hail. The one that we could have gotten from the Crystal Sage. At least his soul. Pestilent Mist. Highly dangerous sorcery employed by Dragon School spooks. Only taught to trusted members. I don't recall this being here before, so perhaps that is implying that we are now trusted by Orbeck. Releases dense mist that eats away at HP. Beware, as the caster is not immune to its effects. A body caught in the silent mist cloud lies still, while the face twists in a tortured scream. The names of these learned scholars became feared for this gruesome spectacle. Soul Greatsword is definitely something I want to use eventually, because it's a pretty cool sorcery for not a whole lot of requirement. But 22 is just too far out of my reach to really be concerning myself with using my hard-earned souls on it at the moment. Same thing with Great Farron Dart, you know. It's probably gonna do far more damage, even though it's only a 33% increase in FP. I'm imagining you're probably gonna see a similar 33% increase in damage, right? You know, so that would be quite effective. But I'm just not seeing a whole lot of use in these. Great Soul Arrow, I could see that being useful. That I could actually see being pretty useful. I honestly feel like I'd be better off going with Pyromancies at this point. Assuming what I have currently available.
Ah, there you are. I am... Oh, we'll need a pyroman, though, if it...
I do have a tome, actually. The Great Swamp Pyromancy Tome.
Yes, here we are. It's been long indeed. With this, I can teach you more sophisticated pyromancies. Splendid. I can boast I am your tutor a little longer.
It's interesting the difference between characters like Orbeck or even Irina and Cornix. With Orbeck and even Irina, you know, you give them tomes, and then they say, well, without tomes, you know, they can't, essentially they can't teach you. They don't know it, right? You know, without knowing the tales, I can't teach you the miracles. Without the scrolls, I can't teach you the sorceries. But with Cornix, you get the distinct feeling that he knows all of this, that he's just forgotten it, right? I get the feeling that Cornix has forgotten more in his lifetime than Orbeck knows. You know, like, no offense to Orbeck. That it has a different feel to it. It doesn't. I don't think for a second that Cornix doesn't know how to do Great Fireball or whatever, you know, rather than just regular Fireball, right? There's no way that all he knows is Fireball, Fire Surge, and then Great Combustion, right? Like, surely he knows Bursting Fireball or Fire Orb already. Anyway, that's a great option here. The signature flame manipulating spell common to pyromancers hurls a giant fire orb. The blazing fire orb explodes on impact, dealing fire damage to the surrounding area. They say that once a pyromancer learns this spell, their understanding of the flame deepens, together with a yearning for it. And then that's compared to Fireball, which is elementary and is often the first learned. Significantly increased size, radius, you know, it's on the icon, it's what, 3 times the size, 2.5 times the size. Bursting Fireball is actually an interesting spell. I like the Elden Ring version of it a little bit more. I think it's Flame Fall Upon Thee, they call it. Pyromancy of Old restored by Cornix. One of the Great Swamp's more advanced spells. Hurls an exploding fireball, a rare technique that undergoes change after leaving the caster's hand, making this a spell renowned for its difficulty. Thus we have a 18 intelligence requirement and a 12 faith. So it makes sense. Reading these descriptions makes it make more sense to me. You know, I definitely feel it was needed after Dark Souls 1 having a system where pyromancy was just overpowered. You know, you had pretty much equivalent strength as you would as a full mage or a full faith build in terms of how much damage you can output, having ranged spells, you know. Maybe not quite. You don't have the massive speed of Wrath of the Gods or the sheer versatility of being able to use Crystal Homing Soul Mass, Dark Bead, all these different things to your disposal, but you have ranged attacks with, if you have high dexterity especially, doing a dex pyro, you fling fast. You have range damage at a really high speed, which maybe not, like I said, maybe not Wrath of God speed, but pretty close for no investment whatsoever. Just go 40-40. You know, 40-45 actually would be the best way, but you know, but this makes more sense. In Dark Souls 2 and then even coming into 3, I thought, why specifically do we require both though? Why not just have it be one or the other? Right? You know, it's or just have the maybe requirements and not scaling, but it makes sense now lore-wise to think about it. It reminds me so much of the Golden Order spells of Elden Ring, where essentially it's using faith because it's the Golden Order, but it's like a theology study. You are studying the manifestations of order in the universe, and like basically it's like the study of the divine, the study of God, you know. So it makes perfect sense to have a requirement of intelligence in addition to faith. In this case, it's the same thing. A spell like this that is defined as advanced, renowned for difficulty, needs more intelligence to be used, not just faith. Whereas something like Fire Orb, which is still a very powerful spell, it's much more powerful than Fireball. Why is it only just giving an increase from 6-6 to 8-8 in each category? 8 intelligence, 8 faith instead of 6. But 18 and 12? That's a massive difference, you know. None of these other spells even come close to it. 6-6, 0-10, 10-10, 6-0. Nothing comes close to Bursting Fireball in terms of requirements. So that kind of helps me kind of comprehend why certain spells have higher requirements. Although I'm still very irritated at, for example, Elden Ring again, how they have really high requirements in some cases that just don't make sense, but still a great thing to consider. Okay, spell buff only goes up by 1 here, so I don't see it being much worth to upgrade my flame right now.
If you seek the lands of the lords,
hold up. Here we are.
There you. I am pleased to have a pupil as dedicated as you.
He has new dialogue.
If you seek pyromancy tomes, take this sage advice. The lands of the lords converge upon Lothric. The home of pyromancy's drifts comparatively close as well. At least, that is what pyromancers of the Great Swamp believe. The place is called Izalith. Oh, how I wish to behold a primal pyromancy. Well, these are old tales. No one knows where the truth begins or ends. If you seek the ladder, at least the play, well, do not pick what is a teacher.
Indeed. Okay, and now we have our next great spell. I can drop Fireball for Fire Orb.
Oh, champion of, do you wish to hit? You know, in my home of Ivor, but if
Okay, nothing else to see from her. I don't want to give her that tome yet. Okay, nothing of real use here to buy from her yet, so let's just stick with what we have. I'm gonna move on and start getting ready to finish Farron Keep here for us. An interesting question. When some of these NPCs come here, they talk about, like Londo, Yol of Londo, where he says, "Oh, thank you for letting me witness this divine flame." You can't even see the first flame from here. All you see is a bonfire that looks no different from any other for the most part. A coiled sword. It's no different, you know, it really is just no different. Let's see how we're doing with our upgraded damage. Oh, bad timing on that. I should have got Fire Orb. Look at how they went. They split up, one to the right and one to the left, to ambush me when I come around. You can't tell me that AI on these guys is not superior to any other enemy around. That is incredible. Okay, enough of that. Let's swap that for Fire Orb. Oh, and I have Lightning Spear too. Miracle allegedly used by Warriors of Sunlight. Interesting use of words there. Hurls a lightning spear. The spears inflict lightning damage, providing an effective counter to magic or fire. Especially powerful against metal armor and dragons. An effective counter to magic or fire. That's an interesting, specific detail of it all. I was wanting to see how much damage I can get on a backstab here, but it's not. There we go, 363. So there is an increase. Not bad. Much bigger fireball itself, and the explosion radius is much larger, able to hit more enemies at once. So let's go and finish this up then. we still have much to do in Farron. I so badly want to just pull out a guard counter every time I... Okay, run for it. A poison gem. Call me crazy, but that gathering of 3, isn't that the same same group that's right over here? I mean, I must be hallucinating here. Titanite shard. Very welcome. Simultaneously, the best and worst feature of this area, how amazing complexity you see. This place is massive. There's just so much here. Significant increase in difficulty to obtain a guard break here. I'm assuming these are all just going to be... No, some souls, okay. Not just birch. Gold pine bundles. An ember. All great items to have. Soul of a nameless undead. And then some young white branches. It's beautiful to see a tree like this growing here. I wonder if these trees aren't fungal in nature almost. The fact that the crown of dusk is here makes me wonder if these aren't somehow the manifestation of like Elizabeth and the mushrooms, that they grow into these white trees. Why else would they be protected by the giants? Strangely enough, it's not, if he was protecting one of the giant trees, the ones that drop the seeds of a giant, you know, that I could understand. It's not. you know, so what is the point? And then right here, right, now we have actual mushrooms right in front of us. Okay, this is just gonna lead me back. Yeah, there's my... Yeah, so isn't this exactly where... This is the same group then, so what's going on here? Am I not, am I or am I not in the same area I was just in? Let's see here. If I am, then it should be possible for me to just... Yeah, there's the Estes soup right there. Okay, so I'm not in the same area then. At least it doesn't seem that way. Well, of course I'm not, but not specifically, but... There's no way I'm taking all three of them down. Yeah, so this is, this is just... Run. Okay, I think I got it. As long as they can't follow me around here, I think I am good. I'm Gucci. Okay, cool. This should be bringing me... I think this is right near where the beginning is, actually. This should be closer to where the Dark Wraith was. Oh, and the Greatsword. Well, that was dumb, I'll admit. Shinobi execution. Okay, let me throw the Estus ring on here. I don't need a 10% increase to souls right now, I just need to survive. Hurry up. Perfect timing. Okay, I have some moss clumps. I don't need fire bombs. I have plenty of fireball to chuck at people. Let me just throw some moss clumps on here. An ember could be useful if I'm on my last legs here. Yeah, this is definitely just a connection of where I started out at. This has to be. Ooh. Yikes. Oh, hell no. That's not where I wanted to be right now. That is really not where I wanted to be right now. Woo! Those guys were so much harder to get away from in previous playthroughs. That is just delayed vengeance right there. I'm just waiting for the slamma-jamma to come. Looks like he finally got me off his trail. Okay, there's one thing I'm for sure missing here, and that's the cave where the Xanthus scroll is. Oh, come on, man. Jeez. Let's see here. How long has this video been so far? Oh, it's been quite a while. We've been almost 2 hour stream. So I think I will quit pretty soon, but not quite yet. Okay. Tears of Denial is nice. And I would drop Great Combustion just to have Fire Orbit. But I think Replenishment actually sounds decent here. You know, I can combat the effects of the poison. Serious again.
Hello again. I have since heard a great deal about you. For one, that you are most gentle of heart. I, too, am bound by duty, but can offer you my sign. I hear that cordial intrusion lays the path to embers. If I can be of help, by all means, do call upon me. Blessing of the moon upon your journey. If you should require assistance, blessing of the...
Okay.
Ah.
Let's see here. I've already checked through these. think I'll keep my souls for now. I don't really have any other needs at the moment. And Yuria doesn't really have anything of any necessity either. So yeah, why not? Let's just use our souls
Welcome,
on
house speak.
full level up here.
Very well, then take.
7,800. I get an increase of 2 damage. Excuse me. With a dexterity point. Lightning Spear does feel like a really good one to have. I'm gonna put a point into faith here. I think I'm gonna go up to 20 so I can get Lightning Spear because that feels like something nice to have. However, I do feel like getting perhaps 14 endurance and then perhaps 16 attunement would be worthwhile. And I do still have the debate of whether I should go higher on strength.
Ashen one, so I that made the.
Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop it here. So next time we get on, we'll be talking to the Abyss Watchers of Farron. So I'll see you guys next time.